Since there's so many exotics, the game has kind of became confusing. Everyone always asks me, what's the meta and the best team in the game? Now, I'm not going to give away that secret sauce, but today I'm going to show you guys the top 5 best exotics in this game. And now that there's 14, if you include Friend My Leg, this is going to be important information to know so you can decipher what you should be grinding. And for those who are grinding, you guys are in luck. Most of these exotics are really easy to get. I'm going to try to show you guys how to get them, their abilities, how good they are, how far they go in endless, their boss battle times, etc. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the list. Starting at the number 5 is no other than the most common exotic in the game. It is the Painty the Pirate, guys, from the admin crate. If we go to our chest right here, guys, and hit details, this thing is 1 in 400 with 700,000 exists because that's how many admin crates they spawn in every admin abuse. If I summon just quite a few, I will probably get a couple painties, but I'm not going... Oh, we got a painty. Well, that was perfect. And when we compare it in the index, guys, 1 exists, 515, and if we just go through, you'll see that this thing stands out as having the most exist. It is going to be the first exotic to hit 1 million exist, and I'm going to show you guys why I have it at number 5. And no, I'm not biased just because I'm the number 1. This thing does 4.1 million damage in the lobby. And if we take it into boss battles, it nearly one-shots the hardest boss in the game, but it also clears it in 8 seconds. Yes, it attacks kind of slow. Yes, it's only line, but it still has tons of damage and deserves that number 5 spot. In the current state of the game, this thing's going to give you around 798 waves in endless. Thank you to Invase for testing this. I don't have any video footage of that with the new pets and everything, but I did test it before. So even though the 5th best exotic won't be making the meta lineup because you need your supports, I'm going to give Painty the number 5 spot just because it is a powerhouse. It's really easy to get, and it actually does make it the 5th furthest in endless, doing much more damage than the Tower of Karate by almost double when I tested him in endless. He also had very similar damage to a Filthy Boy, but the Filthy Boy was actually maxed where the Painty was not. So Painty definitely deserves that number 5 spot, fellas. Now let's move on to the beef and potatoes of the list where things get drastically better. In at number 4 is going to be the Path to Hapless. I might be biased since I do have a number 1 Path to Hapless, Shiny Wumbo, but this thing is absolutely broken. It gets high up into the 860s in endless, guys, but it goes even further when you consider if you have a Dream Gary, you'll also be grouping all the enemies up. Because the Path to Hapless is actually Splash, Dream Gary grouping up the enemies is a perfect combo for him. Once they're all in a bunch, he decides to go and shoot all of them at once. And just like everything else on this list, pretty much, the ability doesn't work and it's not worth using. But this thing's going to get you 860 waves without even grouping any enemies, and if the enemies are grouped, who knows how far it can go. He also takes out the boss battle in 3 seconds, the hardest one in the game, Lionfish tier 5, and he's a very efficient unit, guys. I definitely recommend using him in your endless meta lineup, and I will say as well that this thing could be tied with number 3, because in at number 3 is actually the Jelly Leader. This thing came out with the Path to Hapless, obviously being the summon unit here. It is equally as rare, you just have to summon it with conches, but it's a Pierce unit as opposed to Splash. Now, it does less damage and has a lower boss battle time than the actual Path to Hapless, but the difference is the Jelly Leader is Pierce, so it can be better for endless. It depends on how good you are at grouping enemies up and if you're using a Dream Gary, but it definitely will get more waves than the Path to Hapless. Now for the important 2, guys, the best things in the game by far. In at number 2 is going to be the Army of the Dead. This thing is absolutely broken, guys. It gets well over 1,000 waves. It did 1,007 waves, beats the boss battles very fast. It also looks super duper cool. Its attack animation's got this green spirit that shoots out. It's insane, guys. It's super crazy. I love this unit. He's like the one guy that's worth using the ability on this entire list because his ability is full AoE, not to mention it looks really cool. And this unit is definitely fully complete. Now, it also has like 10k exists, so this thing is very easy to get, guys. Make sure you guys are getting him from these coral crates over here. And I actually misspoke. 17,000 Army of the Dead exist, and this thing goes to 1,007 waves solo. So if you haven't already, get your hands on him. He's absolutely broken. Probably one of the best units in the game and my favorite unit in the game right now. I call him the Skeleton Army. He's that good at destroying bosses. I also showcased a max one of these and the number 1 on this list, so stay tuned for that, guys. We're going to go fully in depth with them. It's going to be insane. But in at number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for, guys, this thing is actually the most broken thing I've ever seen. It is a single target but can clear endless like it's a full AoE. It is the most effective swarm killer in the game, even though it only attacks one enemy at a time. How is that possible? That's just how good it is. Coming in with a 1 second boss battle time on the hardest boss in the game. The endless record all on his own. He got to 1,024 waves, and I made a mistake, by the way, without even using the ability. This thing is the best in the game by far. The ability doesn't even work. So it got to 1024, no ability. There's also a video on that coming. This is no other than the Chum Brute, of course, guys. The Chum Brute is absolutely broken. Not to mention, he's still available for the next 1 day, 13 hours, so you guys should probably go get him if you haven't already. You need to complete all the missions in the quest line here for the Survive Bikini Bottom, which is actually kind of a scam. Why is the best unit in the game obtainable only from quests from a different game? I have no idea. I don't get why that is the case. But there is 55,000 exist. So this thing's going to be pretty easy to get and trade for either way. The value and demand is relatively high for a 55k exist, but that's just because it's so broken. This is the only unit you need with a Dream Gary to set endless records from a week ago. So yeah, this thing's absolutely broken. In fact, guys, with the top 2 units on this list, I'm going to attempt a 3-unit endless record. Okay, we are going to try it. I think that's going to be fair. They have to nerf me. So we're going to nerf myself by only using 3 units, and we're going to try to beat that endless record. That's coming soon as well. But for the ability, the Chum Brute's ability really isn't worth using it. Spamming it will get you around the same waves, probably a little less just because it takes a bit of time to activate and it doesn't do much damage. I actually don't think it does any damage if you look here, but it's still by far the best in the game despite that. So imagine if the ability worked. I think they actually balanced him to have an ability, but then when the unit released, the ability didn't work, which is why it was so bad at first until the 4x buff. But now this thing's by far the best in the game. If you want to complete endless loadout, you're going to need the top 2 on this list. Jelly and Pat the Hapless, they're subjective over which is better. And also, guys, I planned this video before the big guy Spongebob came out, but I will give you a quick little tip with him. The big guy Spongebob is not a top 2 endless unit. Guys, I did test him in the last video. He only got to 890. He is a line unit. His ability is full AoE, but it's still kind of weak. He's basically just the Army of the Dead, but just line instead of Pierce. And Pierce is just so much better. So Army of the Dead would probably rank 3rd on this list if I had to remake it with him. And then Pat and Jelly and I would move to 4 and 5, depending on what you guys think. Painty is going to be that best super duper cheap unit where tons exist. Filthy Boys isn't going to be that good. King of Karate as well isn't that good, guys. It's definitely going to be Painty at number 6. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that quick little tip just in case you were wondering where it was. I planned this video way before. I tested all these units way before. But just based off the test I did with that thing, I would rank it at number 3. So I think my endless loadout would probably... Actually, I'm not going to leak it yet because I haven't tested the new secrets, guys. But these are the best exotics in the game and the ones you should be grinding for. If you guys want to see a rarest exotics unit in the game, let me know down below. I could get that coming. We have plenty of bangers coming on the way. 3-unit world record, 1-unit wave 1000. We got some trading bangers. I actually bought the most expensive unit in the game. And I'm also working on beating SpongeBob Tower Defense Part 3. So with that said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed this little list. Subscribe and notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one.